Malamy here, and in this video I'm going to talk about how to become a VTuber in 2025. This video is based off my own experience of becoming a VTuber and how I went about becoming one. I will be breaking down the process into 5 parts: thinking and research, gathering, software, putting yourself out there, and debuting. So let's get started with part 1, thinking and research. One of the most important stages of becoming a VTuber, in my opinion, is the thinking stage. Don't do what I did and act on impulse. Think to yourself, why do I want to become a VTuber? What do I want to get out of being a VTuber? And what content do I want to do? After you've thought about these questions and have answers for them, this leads you on to the next topic of this section: research. You're probably thinking, Mally, what kind of research do I do? Well, a good place to start is by watching VTubers, although if you're watching this video, it's probably because you already know what VTubers are and are already watching them. It's by watching VTubers that you can get a sense of what they do and find out what kinds of categories there are for them. Along with watching VTubers, it's also useful to learn some of the vocabulary used by VTubers. The final bit of research I think you should do at a minimum is find out what type of models there are to use. The 3 main categories are 2D models, 3D models, and PNG models. I'll go into more details about these models in the next part, which is gathering. Now you're sure you want to give VTubing a go, it's time to gather your equipment, model, and overlays. You'll see many VTubers suggesting that you buy a pre-made customizable model before jumping right in and getting a custom model made. And despite me doing just that, because I didn't know any better, I agree with them. By using a pre-made customizable model, you are given the freedom to try VTubing out without sinking possibly hundreds of pounds or dollars into getting a custom model made and then deciding it isn't for you. And by doing it this way, you can always commission a custom model later. So, how do you find a customizable model? Well, there are a few options here. VGen, Ko-fi, and Etsy are all good places to start, although with the rise in AI images and stuff like that, I'd be careful about using Etsy and encourage you to use either Ko-fi or VGen instead. I personally use VGen for all my commissions since it was made for the VTubing community and has now extended to the streaming community in general. Next up is equipment. Before you go and make your bank account cry buying the best spec equipment out there, it's fine to use cheap equipment at first. I myself use a Fi-Fi microphone, an old Logitech webcam that I got back in 2021, and a pair of gaming headphones I got around the same time. Now, I was lucky enough that a few years back I bought a gaming computer for myself even before I thought about becoming a VTuber, so honestly, I don't know what specs are needed. Although I've heard of people using older laptops, they have tendencies to overheat, so keep that in mind if you plan to use an older laptop. If you do only have an older laptop or computer, it may be a good idea to start with a PNG model instead, since it puts less strain on the computer or laptop. Basically, anything that can run the software you need is a good bet. This brings us on to part 3. Software. Each streamer uses slightly different software, so they may suggest different software to the ones I'm about to tell you I have. Everyone has preferences and no software is better than the other normally. I will only be saying what software is needed and won't be getting into the details of each piece of software, but if you'd like me to do a video explaining anything further, let me know in the comments and I'll see what I can do. For streaming, I along with many others use OBS. It not only allows you to stream to the platform of your choice, but also allows you to record your streams to look back at later. What you use to run your models depends on what kind of model you have. For a 2D model, most VTubers use Live 2D. There are slightly more options for PNG models, but I use VDL Mini. I'll put a link to it in the description below if you're interested in those. Both are easy to use, and you can find plenty of tutorials online to help you use them. I also recommend setting up a Spotify and Discord account, but these aren't 100% necessary right at the beginning of your VTuber journey. So next we move on to part 4, putting yourself out there. What do I mean when I say putting yourself out there? I mean creating your socials. I've seen a divide on what platforms you should have an account on and which ones not to. I personally have a Twitter/X account, YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok account. I use my TikTok and YouTube accounts to post shorts, and on my YouTube account, I post long form content as well. I use Twitch to stream and Twitter to post things about my VTubing, such as artwork I've commissioned and my daily life. You can also use Twitter as a way to make connections with other VTubers, although I've used TikTok to make the majority of my VTubing friends. A word of advice though, when trying to make friends, aim to message other new VTubers or VTubers that have just started out. This way you can grow together and you can build some great friendships with them. Not saying you can't do that with VTubers that have been at it for longer than you, but there can be some pressure on you if you have no experience streaming. You can use all the platforms I mentioned to also post a model reveal if you want to. Most VTubers do a model reveal, however, some feel like they just want to jump right into it, and that's okay. Everybody's VTubing journey is different, and they can make it what they want to. I, for example, posted a model reveal sheet on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube, and started by making an introduction video with my model blacked out to let people know who I was. VTubers often use these platforms to build an interest in them before their debut. So this takes us on to the last part of the video, part 5, should I debut? Most VTubers like to do a debut stream for their first stream. I also had a debut stream for my first stream. The question is it necessary to debut and have a debut stream? Well, the short answer is no. It's not necessary and can be very time consuming and expensive, and unlike corporate VTubers, indie VTubers have to do all the planning themselves, so for indie VTubers it's not always the best choice. Debuting can be a fun thing, but it can also go wrong and be awkward in many ways. I was lucky that I had a good debut stream with only a small bit of scuff, but like I said before, whether you have a debut is up to you. The main thing to remember is that you get to decide if your debut stream is successful or not. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to leave a comment, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I want to leave you with one final message before I go. That is, have fun with your journey, don't panic, and you'll do great. That's it. So until the next video, bye bye!